So this one day I am woken up by something in my thighs. I don't show that I am awake. I feel his hand on my thighs.
I am enough. I am strong. I am beautiful. No, you cannot touch my hair. It's my turn to speak. No, I will not be quiet. Fuck you.
What is up, guys? It's your boy, It's Just Izzy, and welcome back to the second episode of I Told Him to Stop. This is a platform where women can come out and share their stories, their GBV stories and experiences, and we can empower each other, educate each other, and make sure that we create a better society for everyone. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. To all the females out there, if you want to share your GBV stories, just follow me on Instagram at itsjust.izzy and send me a DM of your story, and it will feature on the next, well, not the next episode, but it will feature on the series. So today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I thought I should read out some, I posted a questionnaire thing on my social media. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me so you can participate. And I just want to read out some of your comments as to what contributes to gender-based violence. Okay, so we have a person here who says ignoring signs. I just want to understand what do you mean in terms of ignoring signs. I'm assuming that you're saying ignoring toxic and violent behaviors from your partner. I think that is very important, because as females sometimes we tend to overlook these little things. And I'm not saying any woman is wrong or whatever. I'm just trying to say that sometimes we need to be careful with some of the men, because you never know who could be a rapist. It's not like we walk around having tags on our forehead saying I'm a rapist. So we need to be very cautious of how men behave and take note of those signs. If there's a red flag, run, Michael, run. Okay, so this person says patriarchy and stereotypical mentalities around it. Lobola, men who think they own women. I definitely agree that these patriarchal systems in our society need to be broken down, and I think a lot of men don't want to break them down because they benefit from them. Let me say we benefit from them. But for those of us who are involved, who are activists of GBV, I think we need to take a step in breaking down these patriarchal systems, and also getting more involved in cultural conversations, religious conversations, and questioning our cultures and religions with certain practices, so that they can also adapt and change to the times, because some of those practices perpetuate rape culture mentality. Okay, this person says relationships that practically ended ages ago and people not making a decision to separate. I think this is very important, especially for victims who are in abusive relationships. It's difficult to let go, and it's difficult to leave your partner, especially if they're very toxic and whatever, because you're still holding on to the good memories, where they treated you well, and they all and as human beings we tend to get addicted to familiarity and comfortability. So we'd rather be in a situation where we're familiar, even if it's toxic, than being alone, because you don't know how you're going to start a new life alone or how you're going to move forward. But I think it's very important for victims who are in abusive relationships, etc., to try by all means, as difficult as it might be, to reach out for help if you need to, but to leave those people, because it would be very, very sad that you stay in that relationship and next thing we see on the newspaper and the headline is justice for insert name. Someone said porn. I think this is a chat that we as society and we as men are not ready for. A lot of the things we learn are from porn. Some of the way in which we sexually treat women or romantically or whatever is from porn. Porn itself, those things that you see on the screen objectify women, firstly. Secondly, how the men in those videos treat women is not an accurate representation of how men in society should be treating women. Okay, so this person says toxic masculinity and the company some boys keep. This shit is taught. Change your teachers. Oof. Say it, girl. Change your teachers. Some of this stuff is taught, and it's the people that we keep around us that teach us these mentalities. So definitely. And I do think we can't necessarily only blame it on the teachers. It's also on the person, because that gives them an escape. As a person, we are taught by our parents to do 1, 2, 3, but do we do those things? No, because we choose not to. So even you, if you're taught rape culture mentality and you know it's wrong, why do you choose to still continue with it? You know, you're your own person. You have a conscience. You have the ability to think, to reason, and you have judgment. So you need to make your own decisions and stop blaming it on what you were taught or how you were raised. Okay, so this person said gender roles assigned by culture. I definitely do think we need to change our gender roles in society, and they shouldn't be gender roles specified to a specific gender. I think in society we need to start getting to a place where we look at each other as human beings, and we celebrate what you can and cannot do as a human being, instead of assigning specific genders to people. Because you can't assign and say, man, you should be head of the house. If man can't provide, then he shouldn't. Then the woman should, be the one providing. He shouldn't force to, try and meet that standard or live up to that. If he can't do it, if it's not his thing, he shouldn't be leading. He shouldn't be, head of the house. So I think it just needs to come down to a point where partners in relationships speak and they're like, what are you good at? What am I good at? How can we, split these roles according to what we're both good at? Hi, so back in the days when I was around 10, 11 years, I used to go to my aunt's place on holidays. My aunt had a boyfriend that she had kids with, my cousins, and they were all staying together. I would sleep on my own bed and my 2 cousins would share a bed since they were younger. So this day my aunt was working late. I was a heavy sleeper then. So this one day I am woken up by something in my thighs. I don't show that I am awake. I feel his hand on my thighs all the way to my vagina. His hand had Vaseline on it. I just turned and slept on my side, and he stopped because maybe he didn't want to wake me up. Another day, I don't know what happened, but I woke up in the middle of the night on their bed in his arms. I woke up and sat there confused. He woke up and asked me what's wrong, and I kept quiet. And then he was like, I should stop giving him attitude because it's not like he did anything to me. That was the last time I visited my aunt's place. I never told anyone about any of that. Firstly, I just want to send a special shout out, to this woman for sharing her story. I really appreciate it. I know it's not easy, and I think even the people watching, it's not easy to hear these things, but I definitely commend you on having the bravery and the courage to speak out so that you can empower and educate someone else. What I want to take from today's story is objectifying women, and treating them as experiments. I mean, if we look at the story, this person is supposed to be your uncle, and it just breaks my heart to hear these stories. Like, it just shows how women view and perceive, men view and perceive women, as just objects. Because this uncle, he doesn't even see that this is a nephew, niece, but he doesn't even see her as a human being. He sees her as something that he can experiment with when she's asleep. And that really just broke me, especially the justification of saying, don't give me attitude, it's not like I did anything to you. The mere fact that you invaded her personal space, that is a problem in its own. The mere fact that you're a grown man touching a young woman, that is a problem in its own. If you don't see the problem in that, then you yourself are the problem. And I think there's a lot of men out there that we have this mentality that women are just objects. Women are things that we collect, scores of how many women you bagged. We collect scores of, how many girlfriends I've had, how many women you've slept with, how many women you've chowed and stuff like that. And I think we need to steer away from that mentality. Women are not just objects, they are human beings, and collecting a score of how many of them you were able to sleep with or get with, that is just wrong in itself. That mentality needs to change. It's a thing that is celebrated in boy culture, that if you bang gang ladies, you're the one, you're the boy, you're the bruh, you're the alpha. But we need to change that narrative. I also think, taken from the story, we need to speak to our elderly about these things. Sometimes it's a thing of, when you speak to someone, it only takes a conversation sometimes to solve an issue. So when you speak to someone and they realize their wrongs, and they hear it from you personally as the victim, that what they did to you was wrong. I think that is more powerful than them hearing it from someone else. I'm just saying that also just speaking out as victims kind of helps, speaking out, especially if it's a family member, calling them out in front of the family. I think that also helps, because a lot of the times when we're silent, we give these people power to continue doing what they're doing. But on that basis, also, just speaking to our elderlies about these issues, speaking to them about GBV, about all these controversial issues that are happening in our society, because, nowadays as young people, we're more knowledgeable, we have access to knowledge, we're more opinionated, we're allowed to speak, unlike the olden days where a child was just seen but not heard. Now we have voices, so let's use those voices in our households. Let's sit our parents down, sit our families down, speak about these things, educate them, and it was just a touching story to hear. I mean, I can't imagine what this girl must have felt from someone that you assume cares about you, loves you, and they just want you to be safe. And it's just disgusting to see that there are men out there who grown men that are doing these acts. I mean, some articles and some news reports we read that fathers that rape their own daughters. I mean, there's a problem there, guys. There's honestly a problem, because I fail to understand that a father who loves his daughter, who sees his daughter as a human being, would do that to his daughter. So I think there's an underlying issue that we need to look into those cases, because I genuinely fail to understand that someone can just commit that type of act without any sort of remorse, or just purely because they want to. So I think we need to also start researching into those little things, because sometimes we need to understand what goes on in a rapist's minds for them to get to the point where they want to perpetuate the act of rape. Because a lot of the times we blame the rapist, and we're like, and I'm not saying we should stop blaming them, we should, but also try and understand why they do what they do, so that we can tackle the problem accurately where it's at, because we can speculate as to why they do what they do. Once again, I want to say shout out to this girl for sharing her story. I really hope that it's opened up a platform for people to keep speaking out about these things, and I think it's opened up a platform for people to discuss and educate each other, and it's definitely empowered a lot of women. And now I would just like to give you guys the opportunity to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I actually have a question for you guys. My question to you guys is, as men, what are the little things that we can do in our capacity to try and fight GBV, to try and eliminate rape culture mentality? This is open for women and for all genders. Just feel free to throw your comments down, and I'll refer to them in my next video. And like I said, if you want to share your story, follow me on Instagram at itsjust.izzy, and DM me your story, and I'll be more than welcome to read it and allow it to be aired on the series. But without further ado, it's been your boy, It's Just Izzy. I hope you guys could take something from this video. I hope that some women are empowered by these voices. As men, I hope that we're really seeing what's going on in our society, and we're really disgusted by what's going on, and we're ready to take a stand. But with that being said, it's been your boy, It's Just Izzy. I will catch you in my next video. Peace.